The theme for this year's message for the World Day of Peace, which is observed on the 1st of January, is Religious Freedom, the Path to Peace. And I was struck by the fact that in this message Pope Benedict focuses to some degree on the place of the family in the context of world peace. Yesterday we observed the feast of the Holy Family. I'm recording this on the 27th of December 2010, the feast of St. John the Evangelist and Apostle. And Pope Benedict wrote about the family. The family founded on marriage finds its place here as the first school for the social, cultural, moral and spiritual formation and growth of children, who should always be able to see in their father and mother the first witnesses of a life directed to the pursuit of truth and the love of God. Note that the Pope mentions the family founded on marriage. Not everybody in today's world accepts the family as being founded on marriage, but that is the Christian understanding of marriage. Marriage is between husband and wife, one man, one woman. And the family then includes the children that God will give them. And in yesterday's Gospel, which was about the flight into Egypt, we saw once again the role of St. Joseph. And St. Joseph is honored above all by the Church as the husband of Mary. That is the name for his great feast day on the 19th of March, the feast of St. Joseph, husband of Mary. And in the Gospel, in one of the Gospels coming up to Christmas, we read of the visit of an angel to St. Joseph, telling him who Mary's child is, and that he, Joseph, is to name the child Jesus. And in Jewish law, when a man named a child, he became the child's legal father, whether or not he was the biological father. And St. Joseph accepted the son of his wife Mary as his own son. And it was as husband of Mary that he played such a leading part in the early days of Jesus. And yesterday again, when he was visited by an angel, he immediately took the child Jesus and Mary, the child's mother, to Egypt. We don't know how long he stayed there, but this was to protect the baby Jesus from the plan of King Herod to kill all the infant boys in the town of Bethlehem. And when an angel told him to return to the Holy Land, he did so immediately. But instead of going to Judea, where the son of King Herod was now king, because of his fear that the son of the former king might kill the child of his wife Mary, he went and settled in Nazareth in Galilee. And it was from Joseph and Mary that Jesus learned in his humanity what it is to be a son, what it is to grow into maturity as a human being. And he learned it especially from St. Joseph, who was called by God to be his earthly father, to be a true father to him, even though Jesus was not his biological son. And the Pope continues, parents must be always free to transmit to their children, responsibly and without constraints, their heritage of faith, values and culture. And again, it is the responsibility of parents to pass on to their children their basic values, especially the values of faith. And the Church has an obligation to enable parents through education, through catechesis and so on, to enable parents to grow in their faith and to make them aware that God is with them in the heavy responsibility that he has given them. And ironically, it is in the Western world that formerly was totally Christian that the family is under attack. And in recent months there were 2 instances, for example in Sweden, where children were removed from their parents. In one case because the father or the mother smacked their child. Not in a brutal manner, but in a way that was trying to lead the child to correct behavior. And the Pope further writes, the family, the first cell of human society, remains the primary training ground for harmonious relations at every level of coexistence, human, national and international. In other words, when a child experiences peace in his family, and this does not mean that there is perpetual serenity, because sometimes parents, for example, will argue, will have differences, will not have loving feelings towards one another. But when the child sees that his parents can be reconciled because of their love for one another, because of their belief in God's love for them, then the child is learning what peace is. It is not something that just happens. It is something that comes about when we work along with God's grace. And when the child sees that his parents, after some difference that they may have, that they are truly reconciled and become even more loving than before, then the child is imbibing what peace, a gift that only God can give, really is. And when the child matures and is in relationships with other groups, maybe even at national level or international level, because God does call some people to be presidents and to be popes and so on, the child brings those values of peace, the peace that only God can give, from his experience within his own family. And the Pope then goes on to say, wisdom suggests that this is the road to building a strong and fraternal social fabric, in which young people can be prepared to assume their proper responsibilities in life in a free society and in a spirit of understanding and peace. And again, what the child learns in the family is what the child as an adult will bring to wider society. And in God's plan, Jesus learned his basic values as a human being, as a Jew, from St. Joseph and from Mary, his mother. He grew up like every other child. And in his humanity, even though he was God who became man, in his humanity, he got his values from St. Joseph and from our Blessed Mother. And I often thank God for the example of my own parents, especially that of my father, who, like St. Joseph, was a carpenter, and whose second name was Joseph. His first name was John. And today I'm recording this on the feast of St. John the Evangelist. And I often realize that whatever values that are good, that I try to live in my life as a priest, I received those values from my father, the carpenter. So I pray that in this new year, that all of us will work for peace and realize that the peace that Pope Benedict speaks about, the peace that Jesus promised to his apostles the night before he died and promised to all of us, is a gift from God. A gift that we have to accept and to work for in union with God himself. So may this new year, 2011, be a peaceful year for all of us.